This week, the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, caught some heat for appearing to question if Black Americans want to be successful.
I think we've seen in a lot of the Black community, which is mostly Democrat, is that President Trump's policies are the policies that can help people break out of the problems that they're complaining about, but he can't want them to be successful more than they want to be successful. And what you're seeing throughout the country now is a groundswell of support in the Black community, because they're realizing that all the different bad things that the media and the Democrats have said about President Trump are not true.
The White House later said internet trolls took Kushner's comments out of context to distract from the president's accomplishments for the Black community. I want to ask each of you, what do you think that Kushner was trying to communicate? And let me open with you, Mark.
Thanks. There's two parts of the comment. I think the focus has been on the successful part. The thing he said right before it, I think, is also of interest, which is what Black people are complaining about. I think his statement tells me he doesn't actually know what Black people are complaining about, because many of the things that Black people are complaining about are not things that we actually have direct control over, whether it's police killings, things like cash bond, schools funded through local taxes, things like that. These are not things that Black people can control directly. But as far as the successful comment in terms of what he meant, I don't think he believes what he actually meant. I mean, I think what he was trying to convey to that particular audience was that the President Trump wants Black people to start lots of businesses and make a lot of money and be more employed than we currently are. But we as a people do not want those things.
Danielle, let me get your feedback on the comment. How did you interpret it?
Well, I thought, and I'll say it this way. I actually agree with him when he says that, they, and let's just put it in the colors that, media continually chooses to divide us in. I don't want white people wanting more for my community than we want for ourselves. I will say this, and when we look at the discussion on does Jared have the right to say that, I think if you look across media period right now, between Chelsea Handler, talking about, 50 Cent, what he's allowed and not allowed to do. When you look at Jennifer Aniston making comments, when you look at even President running for President Biden saying, if you vote for Trump, you're not Black. We've got a lot of people commenting on what it means to be Black, what they think we should want, and what they believe that we should receive from it. And I think that through us addressing our own issues, we've got to pull that conversation back in-house, because
and control the narrative.
There's a validity. Yeah.
And control the narrative. Absolutely.
Right.
Let me get your feedback on it as well, Kerwin. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Danielle.
Yeah, there's a validity to the notion that for Democrat-run cities, the things that we do complain about, we still complain about, violence. We still lack access to capital. We still lack better education alternatives. If, when provided an alternative, if we choose to vote, those policies in that are not favorable to us, it's actually very, valid statement to say we can't want more than the policies you all are willing to vote in.
And let me get your feedback on the comment, Kerwin.
Yes, quite frankly, that comment was pretty much disrespectful to me and a host of a lot of people I know. To pretty much say that Black people do not want to be successful is pretty much demeaning, especially when looking at the inception of this country, to where Black people were slaves and wasn't given the opportunity to be successful up until present day, and still are not given the economic advantages as other groups of people. And so for that comment to be made was very hurtful. It was very demeaning, and I believe that it was meant to be put how it was put, and what came out of his mouth, in my opinion, was pretty much the atmosphere of that particular campaign and that style of running that campaign. This is a people that has been oppressed for a long time. It's just, so to say that they do not want to be successful, or another group want them to be more successful than themselves, is pretty much and downright disgraceful.
So one of the things, Tim, that was said was that this comment was taken out of context, and the media takes a lot of heat, I think, for its portrayal of these different characters. What would be your response about how you all are shaping the narrative? as media?
Wow, that's such a big question.
Maybe it's a we, you and I.
Right. We take hits because there are media outlets that lean left and lean right, and some in the middle. And so, yes, you do see the biases there. But what I took from his comment was it was deeply concerning. But also, to Danielle's point, Joe Biden's "You Ain't Black" was also deeply concerning for me. And it also creates the question, Jared Kushner's comment, success. It's so broad. And I want success. I look at myself as a middle class, individual, but I am still bombarded with systemic racism. It is at play when I'm sleeping. So it just makes, it's just a complicated soundbite to unpack.
Yes, and
It really
we've
is.
tried to unpack it in about 45 seconds.